Alright, welcome back everyone. We're doing our part 2 of our radio install in our 2025 Ram 1500 RHO. Some tools you're going to need are going to depend on if you're pulling the console and doing a more permanent install, or if you're just going to be mounting the radio somewhere off the side of it, or a more temporary install. In this truck, we're pulling the console. We're going to do a more permanent install in the center storage area. So, tools you'll need to put the wire through the firewall is something sharp. This is a specific firewall pass-through tool. You can use a coat hanger or something else sharp to pull the wire through. And if you're pulling the console, you'll need a 10 mil, 7 mil, a T20, and a T25. I'll show you how I got the wire ran through. On the far left side of the firewall, looking from the inside, you can see that red and black power cable. That's for the radio, and it's running through a cavity that's already molded into that plug, or that grommet I should say. And you can actually just poke that grommet with something sharp and then run the wire through it. Sometimes you can tape the wire to a piece of metal coat hanger, or use a wire insertion tool like I showed you previously. But that's a perfect spot to run your wire through the firewall. It's nice and protected. It's rubber. You're not going to have to worry about it chafing through. And on the other side, it'll pop up down here, and then you can just plug it onto your battery. Here's your cable ends. This truck, I'm going to be putting it on the auxiliary battery. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not, but my thought process is, in the event you leave the radio on and the battery dies, at least you're not draining your main battery and you're only draining your auxiliary battery. Okay, once your wires ran through the firewall, now you can route it into the console area if that's where your radio is going to be mounted. So, very critical. You can see here's the harness. I've already loomed it, but you don't want it getting anywhere near your steering column, your brake pedal, throttle pedal. So you're going to want to follow these factory harnesses, zip tie to them, run them real tight, and you can see here the console's out. I'm following this factory harness under the carpet, back here, and it's going to be stubbed out, where I'll show you later where I have it entering the console. So, pretty tucked away. You're not going to see any wiring. This is definitely more of a permanent install versus something temporary, easily removed. In order to pull the console out, quite simple. You only got 6 10 mil screws, and you're going to have trim covers on each side of the console up here. These just pop off. Okay, just clipped on there, and there's going to be a 10 mil right here. Same on the other side. Pull that cover off, and there'll be a 10 mil right there, one on each side. And then you're going to have 2 10 mils on each side of the console behind these plastic covers, one in the front, one in the back. And these covers just pop off with a pocket screwdriver, real simple. And then you're gonna have 1, 2, 3 connectors right here. Disconnect those and you can slide your whole console out. Now that we got the console out of the truck, we can focus on running our wire to our radio. This back section is going to come off, and that's if you're mounting your radio in here like I have. Running a Icom 5021 from PCI, set up with a Rugged Radios mount, and I'll attach all these part numbers in the description of this video. You can see my holes drilled down here. My cables will run through there. In order to gain access to that area, you're going to want to pull this rear section. This top trim piece is just held on by plastic clips. So that pops off. Then you're going to have a single 7mm screw on each side. Pull those out, and then this whole rear section we'll just pull off with clips. You're going to have a few connectors. One of these connectors has a red lock on it. You got to slide that lock back before you can release the connector. And then you can see right here I drilled my hole with a unibit. You can use whatever you got. Just make sure it's big enough, obviously, to run your antenna in through there. Okay, that's for the rear. Now if you're wanting to put a mag mic mount up here like I have, you're going to need to pull this center section out in order to drill your holes, unless you're able to get maybe a self-tapping screw in there. But I recommend through bolting it. So first to get this out, you pull your shifter. This boot is held on by just clips. And once you have your boot off, you can expose the set screw, T25 set screw, holding the shifter on. And that will pull off once you get the set screw loose. And this whole center tray is just held in by 4 screws. So to get those, you're going to want to pull your rubber change holder out. You have a T20 here on the back, right here on the other side, and then you have a 7mm screw up top here. There's going to be one on the other side, and then this whole piece will lift out with the exception of some more clips. You're going to have one wire harness connector going to this Prendle indicator, and then you can set that aside. Okay, once that's out, you're gonna have a 7mm screw. So 2 more of those, and this center section, cell phone cubby area, will pull out. You can see I got my through bolt nuts and screws holding that mag mic on there. You got plenty of access. You could also run your wires a different way to your radio. You have plenty of room down here. You can do whatever you want. So that's how you pull the console apart. Okay, the radio install is done on this truck. Got it under the console lid. It's always a good idea to run a little clamp on this mic cable in case you pull on the cable, it doesn't yank it out of the radio. And luckily Ram thought about this, maybe not, but when the lid's shut, there's actually enough room for this cable to clear. That's nice. I have the mag mount up here near the phone cubby. Comes off nice and easy. Stays there when you want it. Still have plenty of room to put your phone in there. And then I also ended up going with an external speaker mounted up here in the kick panel. There's a little hole you can run a nut and a bolt through to mount the bracket right behind there on a module. There's a blank hole in a module, you'll see it. And then I have the cable ran down through the door sill under the seat, just like I have the antenna cable. Then under the hood, I have my power lead soldered to this auxiliary battery. Had to cut a little notch out for this cable to clear. But that's it, guys. Any questions, feel free to ask. Like I said, I'll attach all the part numbers and items I used in this build under the video description.